You know what I mean? You say to a kid, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Yeah, more time they're going to do it, right? They're going to do it.
Shut your mouth. I'm being honest. Wallah, I've never heard in my life
just like a really,
reggae slash dub.
This is the answer. What is the question?
I'm so sorry. The question is, what are we doing here? And who are we going back to? Where we came from?
Can you bring up this sound every week?
Okay.
Thank you. And you're very definitive to say, if you can hear God, then that has to be a mental illness.
That's a Jannah.
But in terms of your faith, let's...
I'd like to say the Shahada, please.
Really? Let's do it.
No, sorry, I'm not trying to take... I'm not trying to mock you.
The thing is...
I know that's what you guys do, innit?
There's... I mean, to be honest, you acknowledge that this life is only one. Yeah? We're all going to have to pass away. This world came into being, and there will come a time that this world will end. So logically speaking, rationally speaking, it is something that we do need to spend time getting to the bottom of. And like we did with the Israel-Palestine issue, I think when it comes to religious dialogue, it's very important as well, Hugh. And especially knowing that our death can come any minute. And knowing that all of this cannot have just sprung from nothing.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Now you're saying.
What is your view? Let's unpack that. What's your view about how it all started?
Sure. So I'm a firm believer in unbelief. You know, I'm a militant unbeliever. I don't know that this is happening right now really that much. I'm not that lucid. You know, I think we're eternally on the periphery of understanding. You see when people's minds just go, man. People deteriorate. I fully agree that death is coming. Death is all we're born to receive. That is what I believe, and I think that's okay. I think that we're very grateful to be able to talk and communicate. But I think realistically, it's chaos.
We've jumped to the end of the story, to the death bit. Let's jump to the start. How do you believe that it all started?
It doesn't concern me. I think it's a waste of everyone's time.
Really?
Yeah.
Beginning, how everything began.
Yeah, it's a waste. Things are. See, you believe in a level of moral objectivity, of having some kind of unifying idea that kind of bolsters you and keeps you safe and eventually will take you to Jannah, right? Paradise. But I think it's a lovely thing to do, and I really admire and respect it because it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work. But I think to an extent it doesn't really matter how we came into being. We're barely here right now, you know what I mean?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you know what I mean, it's life
feels pretty straightforward that we're here, we're experiencing the world with our
you were asleep, right? You were asleep and you were in some dream state. And I think it's often very hard to differentiate between those two things. And you know, really? When you wake up, I don't mean all the time. Yeah. I'm not mad, but I think that
you're gonna have to unpack this.
Reality is fleeting, I think, for many people, and I think oftentimes in various religious books.
The thing, Hugh, is I think if a person is a true seeker, don't underestimate or don't trivialize any part of the journey. If we look, even in terms of us as human beings, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. In a story, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. In the life cycle of what's around us, in plants start off as seeds, they then grow into shrubs.
We think that now, but in 10 years, someone comes, they say, oh yeah, actually we're aliens, and we were just doing...
What's up outside? So good to see you outside. Good to see you outside. You coming every week?
I think Ali's going to be happy to hear that. I'm going to try, inshallah.
But yeah, sorry, plants and seeds.
How are you?
MashaAllah, barakallah feek. Speaking English, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Barakallah feek. Muslim, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Thank you very much.
Good. You guys just, alhamdulillah, I'm good.
Came to Jannah. You know what?
How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you? You're
All
right.
this time, every night we should show you videos.
No way.
And now we still watch your videos. Look, it's good.
Oh, he's raised well, mashallah. You raised him on a good diet. Swan to Jannah.
Every night before you sleep.
What?
And sometimes
I don't
you
know,
do that.
man. I've got some more to say to it,
Actually,
mate.
waiting for you.
It's up to you.
Oh, that's amazing.
So you don't know what you're doing, mashallah. Because before he used to watch pranks.
Yeah.
And it was okay, but it was nothing Islam. And suddenly he wanted something jokes.
Yeah.
Because jokes with Islam, perfect to see.
Mashallah.
So jazakallah khair.
No, I appreciate that. Bless you.
Are you coming here every Sunday now?
I'm gonna try. I've got holidays now from work, so I'm gonna try.
You're teaching.
I'm a teacher in Turkey.
You know about us?
So alhamdulillah, I mean on the weekend I'm gonna try come because we do filming on Saturday as well. So just keep myself busy, isn't it?
Sorry.
You finished? No, I think we're still going.
I'm gonna cut for now.
Okay. No, I'll just finish the conversation with
Can
you.
I take a picture?
You can do it.
Do you want me to take one?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Is it still running? Yeah. All right. So
Plants.
yeah, plants.
Plants, yeah. So they got.
You're talking about the philosophy of science.
They pollinate, yeah, and we firmly believe that now. And I believe probably at the moment that's a reasonable thing to think. Just like I think Islam's a reasonable thing to think. It's perfectly reasonable. It's a philosophy that governs the world. Why not take that on board? But in you know what I mean? In an hour, we could learn some brand new piece of information that completely.
Okay, let's unpack that then. So you're saying maybe an alien. The thing is,
I'm not a firm alien guy, but
That's
it could be an
absolutely
alien. It could be a
no
kind
problem.
of, you
No
know,
problem.
octopus.
Let's throw stuff out there.
kind of-
Octopus or alien, no problem.
What do you prefer?
There's going to be certain fundamental truths that aren't going to change. Yeah, regardless of what is discovered or what's not discovered, everything has a beginning. Yeah, cause and effect that exists.
I don't know if that's our understanding of. That's a linear way of thinking about things, but that might only be because we can only utilize a certain percentage of our brain. You know, everything's three dimensions, right? What if there's 20 more? You know what I mean? So and in that context, saying everything has a line and an end, sorry, a start and an end. That might be like, I don't know, like you know, like trying to explain a phone to someone that, like, from the Stone Age. How can you explain that to them? Like the fact that there has been so much that we have not known and now know seems stupid. No, sorry, no, I'm sorry.
Be yourself,
no.
You don't need to keep apologizing.
I just mean stupid. From a personal perspective, not from a, you know, it doesn't seem stupid to do these things, but in terms of making determinations of a start and an end and things like that, it seems stupid to be
I'm well aware of that view. That's why I can appreciate where you're coming from. But sometimes it can seem frustrating, especially when you think that it's just never ending. There's many things that we don't know and we can't rationalize everything, and it's just too much to put into one human brain. I absolutely appreciate that, and I know it's I can appreciate that, but I still would put this forward that there is a fundamental truth, and cause and effect. For you to say that cause and effect will change, you would in essence have to say that things can pop out of nothing. So matter from where there is no matter, and when you start believing that things can just.
But you've just said for me to say there's no start and an end. I'm saying something can pop out of nothing, but you're just using start and an end again. You know what I mean? You're using the same rhetoric that I'm saying doesn't exist.
You're saying start and end doesn't. Okay.
I'm just saying that's what I'm saying. I'm a militant agnostic. I really don't believe in belief, but I also think anyway it could be. I think lots of the ideas are nice, but I don't think there's any point in putting your eggs in any of these baskets to.
Let's just say I came to you then. I said, you know what? I'm interested in your kind of philosophy of life. Convince me. How would you start?
I don't know, man, because what you're doing there, because you're the one that asked me to
Okay,
If
yeah.
it's possible. Sorry. Just to clarify, I'm just trying to say if you can wrap it up if it's possible.
Yeah,
but if you're in a
yeah,
good
it is,
conversation,
it is.
no, if you guys are in a good point, carry on.
Yeah, about a minute or two.
Yeah.
Minute or
Okay.
two.
No
Yeah,
problem.
whatever you want,
But if
man.
it's a good point, carry on.
This was not my main purpose.
Can you bring him every week?
Can you say it on camera, please? Yes.
Can you bring him Dishan every week?
Okay.
You would like to see his me and his feature.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Make dua, brother.
But the thing you've done there is,
You know what? Ali, take it. Let me just speak to him off camera. I'll speak to him.
No, finish
yeah,
off.
No, because
I'm fine with that.
this conversation's, I mean, it's a bit
No, wrap it up.
wishy-washy, hairy-fairy, isn't it?
Oh, wait, what's the conversation now?
I don't know, like, with him,
Hello.
yeah. With him, he doesn't agree with any kind of set mechanism. He believes that things can change, and for us to pin ourselves to one mechanism, it's illogical.
So why don't you carry on? Is there a specific reason?
No, I mean, it's not.
Yeah? Okay, if you believe that.
I'm genuinely interested
Filming
to
a
see where it's
music
coming
video.
Okay, so you want to take it off camera?
No, you do your thing, bro.
No, not because of that. But I'll carry on.
No.
I'm here till 7. I told him he's chilling. I just said to you for the
Bro,
recording.
if I wanted the recording, I would have told you.
Okay, no, just wrap it up. Wrap it up.
because I'm going to blow his mind with my perspective.
He's scared. He's going to expose on camera. Alright. You're a little boy.
Is that what you think, yeah? Is that what you think, yeah?
No.
Okay, so
But yeah, what you've done there is you flipped it on me to imply that I would be evangelical about my
no,
perspective.
what I've said is if
You
what
wanna
you're
learn
saying,
about-
yeah, I wanna see where you're coming from, so I could see if that would be a viable path for me to take.
But yeah, there's many presuppositions within what you're saying there, because the idea that it's a path, as if it has some kind of point. The idea,
So there's no point or path, yeah.
no point or path, man. But it's lovely. It's pleasant from my subjective reading of reality. It's lovely. It's pleasant.
Is
And-
it though, for you?
Yeah, I'm having a wonderful time talking to you. I feel like things like empathy and respect. These are
What if things
these are
were to go
notions
wrong?
that come from consensus.
What if things were to go wrong in your life? How
Things
would you
have
deal?
gone wrong in my life.
How do you deal with it? How do you rationalize it?
Yeah, I think that's the most normal thing that could be. I believe we come from chaos, and so when chaos rears its head, that makes complete sense. That's the most rational thing.
But you think that's... So you're saying when things go wrong, that's just a consequence of chaos, but isn't chaos itself a mechanism as well?
Nah, not really. Chaos is a mechanism. No, it's
Yeah,
not really.
chaos theory.
That's it. Saying maybe chaos theory in a scientific context, but I'm the broad
You're
conceptual
talking about the
notion.
dictionary definition of
Well,
chaos.
yeah, I don't know it, but the feeling of chaos, and it's not like a mania, it's just a presentness, an immediacy that there is merely this moment now, and I appreciate that. You don't think that.
What about when you hear of people like the Prophet Muhammad as historical figures and what they've achieved and what they've done?
What I'm going
How
to
do you
say now, I
rationalize
really don't want you to find disrespectful or offended, but I think for me, where we've existed previously in more cut-off, isolated communities, away from the kinds of technology, resources, and medicine we have now. And I know this isn't what you're going to say around a bunch of
No,
believers.
this is quite interesting.
But I believe
You're saying that
we
because-
did not. No.
Yeah.
I believe we did not have a diagnosis for many of these mental illnesses. And enough times these days, when you see people that say that God is speaking to them, it's quite clearly, it's a mental illness. But that doesn't. Having a mental illness does not inhibit you from being able to be incredibly productive. Some of the
But
greatest.
doesn't this
things-
contradict your worldview as well, if you can class that? Because you're saying there's many things that we don't understand and we can't classify.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
where
yeah.
you've been quick to classify something as a mental illness, and you're very definitive to say, if you can hear God, then that has to be a mental illness, when you yourself have just admitted that there's many things that we don't understand. Science we can't pin down and say, okay, that theory is right. We may learn other things. Wouldn't you say that this could also be one of those things that many people don't understand yet, whilst many people do?
That could be the case. That could be that's what I'm saying. That's the purpose of, like, I'm saying this is a theory that I don't necessarily completely subscribe to, because the thing with religion is that you have to completely subscribe to it.
So then going back to the Prophet Muhammad then, hearing how he was as a historical figure, what do you say about that? Like you initially said, it was because certain groups of people were locked off from humanity, yeah?
I think various prophets over the years, a potential hypothesis from my perspective is that a lot of these people were saying they could talk to God. You know, they say about Moses and the burning bush being like DMT or some psychoactive substance. There's all kinds of things that we have
so are you saying,
means of contextualizing in a modern context, which I also completely agree this modern context could be nonsense tomorrow. However, I am within it, I am present within it right now, and so I think there's many.
Because in your worldview, you can't accept it nor deny it.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
So that's what you think about, say, the Prophet Muhammad. Yeah. What about a book like the Quran, with the linguistic miracles that it has, with regards to prophecies that it's made? How do you rationalize that?
How do you rationalize Harry Potter?
By looking into it and critiquing it, and if it lives up to a certain critique, then you say, okay, it's tick these 3-4 boxes.
But at the end of the day, if you're a book reviewer, I'm a book reviewer, we both read Harry Potter, I think it's amazing, you hate it, cool, you know what I mean? That's my perspective. So you take an innate
as a book
meaning
reviewer
from the Quran. But to me, it's a series of words, you know, and that's cool. And I can't speak upon it as I haven't read it. I'll
tell you why that's very important, Hugh. Harry Potter is read for entertainment. Yeah, it's read just maybe to increase your vocab, to get some ideas about imagination, etc. The Quran, on the other hand, is a manual on how to live life, on how to have morals, on how to deal with people.
You know what those things do? They entertain your soul. So it's the same.
I wouldn't say they entertain your soul. I would say they feed your soul.
Okay. And Harry Potter feeds my soul. So what?
When you say feed.
Also,
feed
I don't care for the Harry Potter books particularly.
Yeah.
It was merely
you
popular,
seem to be defending it. It feeds your soul, apparently.
Crazy. Yeah, man. It feeds. No, but I say.
The thing is, what we're doing is we're just playing with words. But the thing, bro, is one is existence, life. What am I doing here? It's much more deeper and cannot be linked in the slightest with entertainment. Entertainment is a fleeting feeling, whilst purpose is something which is deep rooted.
So I completely disagree with that to an extent, because sometimes in music is entertainment, right? But for the closest thing I've had to any kind of spiritual feeling, some kind of just feeling of inner peace, which I know has been via entertainment. So to cast it off as this thing that you know, I don't buy that at all.
What is inner peace according to you?
I don't know. It's just a more positive feeling within that particular moment.
I don't understand.
Okay, so at the moment you feel okay, but
I feel happy because I'm speaking to you.
Well, okay, at the moment you feel happy. Okay.
I wouldn't say I have inner peace speaking to you. You see the difference?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, one's happy, one's inner peace. Inner peace could be, I could be in an argument with somebody, but I'm content.
I'm using religious terms, which probably, you know, like spiritual terms, which are probably unhelpful if I'm trying to say I am not spiritual or religious. So
yeah, you're sending mixed messages.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I've still observed. It's what my observation of what I feel. That I can understand the reason you prostrate 5 times a day. I can understand. I've been to mosques.
Fine. But what's inner peace according to you?
Well, I think you think that's what you feel then. I think that's what you think you feel then. And I think that's what I thought I felt then.
Okay, what is it that you feel at that situation?
You're going to say it's God, right? You're going to say it's the creator, it's the power of the undefinable.
Let's see. I might say that, I might not.
I think it's being at one with that chaos.
So you feel inner peace when you're at one with chaos.
Absolutely.
And which sort of music do you listen to?
Dub music.
So you're saying when you listen to dub music, you
So
feel...
dub music, as in like dub reggae music, which has, you know, it's very, very religious music. It's Rastafarian music, you know. It is. Right?
You're a big contradiction, you know.
Yeah, but you can. I'm very interested in religion and culture and everyone, and I'm a firm believer that everyone should be able to, you know, get on with their
100%.
stuff. But
100%.
But to actually, you know, take something on as a fundamental liberty, a way I would live my life, to me I couldn't do it.
That's fine, and that's absolutely okay at this moment in time. But you've also acknowledged that just like science can change, human beings can change, our understandings can change, our consciousness can change. So, I mean, that's fine. You may be thinking like that at the moment, but we're just unpacking. So you're saying you feel inner peace when you listen to reggae music, which is...
Man, I sound like such a
reggae / dub. I'm being honest. Wallah, I've never heard in my life
just like a really,
reggae /
really
dub.
It's more so a really loud bass vibration. It moves. It resonates. So they have it in Buddhism with the singing bowls or a gong.
It's actually interesting.
Or the
there's a lyric.
The call to prayer.
There's a lyric.
Lots of beautiful vibrations, and that's why they amplify it so much on the Hajj.
Okay, so you're saying vibrations is something which really resonates with you, yeah?
Some good ones.
Okay, and that gives you inner peace.
It gives me what... Yeah, it gives me a feeling I enjoy, a pleasant feeling.
Okay, then what's your definition of joy and happiness?
It's irrelevant, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily know if joy. It's a release of serotonin. Some say it's the voice of God.
What do you say?
I don't say. That's my whole point. I don't say.
You've used the word happiness and joy a couple of times as well.
I know, and of course, you know what I mean.
And if you're using it, you should know what it means.
I appreciate it. Seems like I want to have my cake and eat it. I'm saying I don't believe in anything. Also, now I'm going to reference I'm going to pick little parts of it. Yeah,
and listen to reggae / dub.
yeah, I recommend it. Do you listen to music?
I don't know.
So you just spoken voice?
Yeah, mostly voice only.
A cappella stuff as well.
A cappella stuff, nature, people. I like listening to people.
Well, you know, there's music in all of that. But is there any particular reason?
Particular reason about?
Yeah, why you don't listen to music?
Oh, yeah, because music, well, firstly, it's a religious belief that we've been told not to listen to music just because of the control and influence that it can have over you at a detrimental level.
Does that not contradict what you say about having free will, though? Surely you can control yourself, right?
I can listen to it.
All right, you just choose not to.
Yeah, I choose not to because I mean, just like I can eat something forbidden, it's not like I'm going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have free will to eat that, but I just choose not to, and that's where, of course, if you were a Muslim, you'd choose to do certain things, just like you'll get certain Muslims that choose to do some things that are pro their faith and some things that are anti their faith.
But coming back, I can feel where you're going with this. You're going to a level of...
I'm just trying to understand where you come from. So you said inner peace, but the reason why I ask you what happiness means to you is because I genuinely think that you're conflating the two and confusing the two. That's why I want to see if you understand the distinction. But when I ask you about happiness, you're saying it's not important. But I don't think that you should be putting yourself in a position where you're saying that's not important. It's good to understand everything. Whether you want to follow it or whether you agree with it or disagree with it, that's another issue. But to say that, definition of happiness is not important,